What's your name?
My name is Fernando.
Fernando. You're going to have a minute to pitch your business, and then you're going to get some feedback. Are you feeling ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. What are you building?
Okay, so if you see your parents smoking cigarettes, you'll go crazy, right? And if you see them sitting in a couch watching Netflix all day, you'll be fine. Still, it's proven that you get 50% more chances of getting Alzheimer's disease or dementia if you are in social isolation. So I'm Fernando. I'm the founder of Vermut. We're the first social prescription app for older adults, which is accessible and pushes people to being able to meet people in real life and become influencers in that community, creating and building friendships in real life activities.
Wow, under a minute. Well done. Super interesting. I have a ton of questions. Let me first start, though, by sharing. I actually, about a year and a half ago, my father went into early dementia. So I feel like I feel this. I feel, once you have that happen, you also realize, because people will connect, how much it's happening in the world. And I think every person who has a family member going through it, whether it's a parent or otherwise, doesn't talk that much about it except with other people who they find out is experiencing something similar. So it's pervasive in a way that, again, some people might not understand. So I think this is like a really great overall problem and mission to be on. So it sounds like you're trying to make them social. You're trying to address, I love this point of, one of the causal issues here is social isolation. I like the comparison to smoking because both of my parents chain smokers for almost all of their lives. My father only after dementia gave it up, and my mother, she did it in the middle of her life. Proud of her for going through that. I like all of that. The questions that I have, I'm going to bundle two of them. One is, part of probably my father going through this was social isolation. My parents are divorced. And so when I went to college, I'm the youngest of two. And the dynamics there, I wonder how much of that accelerated things when he eventually retired. But I don't know that I had control. And so whatever solution you have, in my head, I was first okay, but does this reach the people that it needs to reach? How does it reach the people who don't themselves look to solve their social isolation, who don't have these communities? Let me bundle that with the second one of what does this literally look like, which is maybe going to help answer. But what's the user experience of it as it gets to the person who needs it?
Okay, so you're completely to the point because that's actually the biggest problem. A lot of companies in this space targeting older adults, they basically build for caregivers, for their children, and we haven't done that. So I base a lot of the things I built with my parents. They're in their 70s. They've been retired for almost 8 years now. And what you see is they're not natives, so they weren't born with a phone in their hands, but they are digitized. So they have a smartphone, they use the banking app, they use, in the case of Europe, they use WhatsApp. So I base a lot of stuff in the platform to be really accessible. So yeah, I had to learn all the benchmarks on UX, UI, on building technology for us, let's see. Yeah. For us, and build something that they will get. And you bump into a lot of milestones in which you understand that, okay, I'm wrong. If this person is not getting it, so that's the reason I'm wrong, and I have to improve that feature. So when you join the platform, straight away, you don't have passwords, you don't have anything. You just input your phone, you get an OTP, you get a bunch of questions about interest. Password. Yeah, one-time password, and that's it. At the beginning, we had tons of options. Also the one-time password, but they froze. They think they're going to break something. Mm-hmm. So if you give less options, it's the better. So then a lot of screens, which is just one click away of giving your interest and some basic information about your city and your email. And then you jump into a screen in which we ask you what you want to do. So the question of what do you want to do is really important because nobody's asking older adults what they want to do. They normally bring stuff to them. Yeah? Put this wearable on. If you fall, I'll get an SMS and now if you call help. So we skip all that and we ask them what they want to do. So you have activities, you have hangouts, which we differentiate both. Activities are held by partners. So that means, let's say, a yoga teacher. And the hangouts are built by themselves. So it could be whatever they want. They create you name it. I had a lady in Madrid, she created a limo tour and ended up in a club drinking cocktails, It was her dream.
It's connecting you in that moment with either a curated experience or they're creating the experience inside of community.
And then if you feel, because this is something that people might be in isolation for a while, and when they join the platform, which they definitely do when they see an ad, because or cost of acquisition drop until $2.9 sign up, of download the app and sign up in the platform. They do sign up, but then that's the reason in 2022 we started iterating with more features for them, for the shy ones, so the people that was isolated too much, to start engaging online. So you see people near you, you see they're like you, because a lot of people think, I'm too old, I'm too young, is people going to be like me? So you start seeing...
Do you think that's 80% of why they don't do things? Because they're afraid of being the odd person out?
100%, and more in men.
Right.
The baby boomer man is... like has a lot of confidence problem once they retired. I see it with my
I saw a TikTok last night that's just coming up, and it's just like such an indication of this. It was such an interesting TikTok. There's this trend right now where it's like a song about getting along with a stranger, and it's a video of a father surrounded by younger women and family, and he's playing some sort of drinking game with them. And the caption says something like, "My dad came to drop something off at our wedding party and tried to rush out because he thought he was bothering us. And I just wanted to say, you could do nothing to bother me, Dad." It was such a touching moment, but this idea of like the person who is escaping from it, I think probably in a lot of these dementia cases, it is not, especially at the right age, right? There's probably a prime age where like you lose someone and their ability to do this efficiently, unfortunately, where like you reach those social moments so often and you remove yourself. You never build the muscle, you never build the habit, you don't have the comfort. Okay, hold on. So that's a little too thematic. Let's zoom in a little bit. So how long have you been doing this?
So we started with the concept in 2020. In the middle of the pandemic, I saw the problem. We're two founders, Enrique and myself, and we saw the problem in our parents, and then we said like, okay, let's assess properly this. We used to work in another startup, and we said like, let's do the same thing we do. Like, let's talk with a lot of people. We started talking and understanding clearly what was the issue, and if it was lack of social connections, because in the case of our parents, the neediness of my parents, which I'm really transparent with my parents, kind of the TikTok you were talking about, it's like, why am I feeling guilty because of not calling you? Like, we're equals, we've always been like this. We drink a bottle of wine, we're drinking the same wine, right? Like, why should I call you more than you call me, or why should I feel pity? And that started building up when we spoke with people that all had the same issue. Oh yeah, my family has their own things, they're active, they're doing stuff, and I don't want to bother. And then why do you connect with other people? Mainly the stuff you get in many of the cities, New York City is not an exception, that's the reason I'm here, is completely outdated. And they're treating people in a patronizing way. And if you're in your 70s and active, you don't want to go to the senior center of your hood, it's not cool,
Yeah.
So you want to find another solution, but you're too old for many of the solutions out there. So that's the reason we built this. And
how many people are using it?
And we started in 2020, and now we are a bit more than 100,000 people in Spain, but across Spain.
Have you raised money?
Yes, we raised about 2.5 million so far.
And you launched in the US or not yet?
Yeah, we're ready. We flipped the company because a US VC invested in 2022. So we're a US company now, and we already have the platform ready since last year. We have maybe 3,000 people, but I don't count those because it's spread. It's organically grew, but spread in the US. You need the people in the same city for the network effect to happen. And the reason I'm here is because we're pushing a pilot with the New York City Department of Aging, and there's a couple of more NGOs that want to pilot us, because basically not only we serve a good purpose and give value to the older adult, but the institutions trying to engage them, they have no data on them.
Yeah.
I can tell you who's single, I can tell you who's still working, I can tell you who's looking for a couple, I can tell you like interest-wise who's more adventurous and could buy an insurance if they actually have an accident. I can tell you a lot of stuff. But you have to put them in the funnel. So they get hooked up, they start giving you the data, and they start having fun as well.
How do you monetize?
Well, we started B2C, and people pay a subscription for it. So you join, you have this freemium in which you have an amount of activities for free, and then either you pay as you go. So you pay the partners that upload content, and if you want to go to Hangouts, which are built by the community, or free activities, which we kind of scrape content across the city, you have to pay 24 euros or dollars a year. And And the partners that upload the content, they pay 20 euros a month to upload the content.
Content being like promotional material?
The only thing that we don't allow is traveling. Traveling pays a percentage of what they sell because the price tag is bigger. But if you're making a lot of money with us and building a big community, it's actually good. No, it's not only advertisement because they get a SaaS platform to manage their or their business with people over 55 that manages through us.
And then you said it was B2C, so are you...
With the context, at the end of 2023, we realized that we are not getting money to burn in growth. Like, that's not happening anymore. So we started getting contacted at the end of 2023 with banks and insurance companies in Spain. So now we're actually paying attention. We kind of polished the platform for them, and we're doing a deal with one of the biggest banks in Spain and one big insurance company. And now that we have, last year, this research came out that healthcare saves 40% of the cost of general practitioners if the older adults are socially connected. So now we're targeting health care companies as well, because if you have this bunch of people paying for their health insurance, which are not connected and they're costing you money on prescription.
So your hope is that they would pay for a subscription for their members as part of their health plans.
Yeah, the banks will, and this insurance company in Spain will.
And they're probably familiar-ish with this business model. They pay for things for their members like this?
Yeah, they do. For example, in mental health is something that is, and telemedicine is, those two are really well consolidated in the healthcare industry. But then the social connections side of things, they haven't really engaged with it yet. We're kind of the first thing out there for older adults to really engage them socially. So we've been talking actually for a while, and now they're desperate. Like, with all these studies, their priorities change, and they call saying like, hey, we need this, let's do it. With the insurance company, they actually did a hackathon with older young professionals to actually come up with how to integrate us to their products, to their services, to actually start engaging better.
Super interesting. I have some pitch feedback to kind of come to with this. I think that, are you raising money?
Well, I am, but I will be more certain when I get traction in the US. Last year, we did a bridge round because I was getting these feedback of, if you have traction in the US, you're a no-brainer to invest.
Right.
But I'm not trusting the traction you have in Spain. They trust it, but it's not the same target group. I mean, culturally.
Right. Well, I think this is the interesting thing. Like, even thinking about the start of where my brain is going is like, how do you infuse more of the success story as part of your pitch? Because your pitch made sense to me, especially as someone who understands the audience. But talking about the 100,000 folks that you have using it, because I think the thing that is the biggest objection, because you're going to get people who like the mission, either because they understand how important it is or because they have personal experience. But their fundamental objection isn't even going to be the other thing they'll think about, but isn't the objection, isn't monetization. That's always hard. And I think you haven't landed on what will be your final solution probably. So where they will get stuck is, do I think people will, of this demographic, will self-sign up or be reachable? Because A, behaviorally, as we've discussed, it's like difficult to get these people to take, pro-social behavior and activity. And then B, they'll have this notion of like, can these customers be acquired because of this lack of pro-social behavior? What's the cost of the acquisition of some of these customers? Will they actually onboard and take activation activity? Going to an event is different than signing up for the app. All those things are probably the objections where they go, I might believe this would work if only it's the users would be forced to do it the first 3 times, then maybe it would work finally. But you've proven clearly that you understand and know how to get these folks through a variety of methods probably to install the application and then create events and go to Hangouts. And if you can, again, talk about that in a succinct way, if you can build a version of not just the minute pitch, but the first 15 minutes of a longer meeting in a way that allows them to immediately go, okay, that doesn't mean I believe you're going to grow it for free, but it does mean I want to have more conversation about the rest of it. Because so far as you talk about the rest of it, I go, there's hairy things here, there's tough things there, but all of them, if I believe in this mission, that a lot of people aren't targeting, for better or worse. We're finally getting some senior care startups, I think, at some scale, but it took a while for us to get here in venture and startup land. So I think they'll move past that initial objection of, will these seniors care at all? Will they sign up at all? Is this even possible? Because again, very different from every other senior care startup, you're going after the user. Downloading and taking on the activity. It's very interesting. And so again, I think build your evidence, I would have a hypothesis that investors will react better to you even now with the story from Sherveen if you make it more of your story up front. So right now they're going, oh, go get some traction in the US. Maybe, and that'll help. Obviously, traction heals all wounds. But I bet you have a lot of excited people if you wanted to raise earlier without needing to wait. If you just, again, reframe and re-anchor that context as make it proof, make it evidence. So it's not, oh, will it work here? It's like, here's how we view it. We just need to press another go-to-market button. And if you can tell that story, I think a lot of people are convinced. It's a great mission. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Probably feel more comfortable investing in this one because you had some sort of connection to it too as well, right?
I think it's just exposure to the problem, because I think people who don't have the connection to it don't realize how pervasive it is. So like, if you had asked me 3 years ago, how much dementia do you think exists in the world? How many families are dealing with Alzheimer's? How annoying, and this is like the honest truth, anyone who has a parent with this will probably be more sympathetic to what I'm about to say, and everyone else is going to find it horrifying, how annoying it is to have a parent with Alzheimer's. It's like the most brutal activity. Like, there are 3 months of my life. I mean, we were doing the feedback loop. I must have barely been here. Psychologically, I was just exhausted. So that exposure by itself, you just need someone in your life to experience it, or to the statistics, and then I think you're willing to thematically invest. And it, again, the personal experience helps, but it's just the realization.